This is BRICS Global Television Network's Daily Roundup. We begin with the headlines. The United States and NATO have urged China to stop supporting Russia's defense industry. 6 candidates in Iran compete to succeed the late ultra-conservative President Ibrahim Raisi ahead of this month's elections. Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva has emphasized the urgency of combating criminal activities responsible for Amazon deforestation. And the lineup for this weekend's UFC fight in Saudi Arabia has changed. Hello, I'm Juliet Newell. We begin with Russia-China relations. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is calling on China to end the support it's giving Russia's defense industry and must cease as it prolongs the Ukraine conflict. During a joint news conference with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg in Washington, Blinken highlighted that China's assistance enables Russia to sustain its military capabilities and continue the war effort.
The fastest way to end the war is for Putin to be disabused of the notion that he can outlast Ukraine and outlast all of Ukraine's supporters, but also if he knows that the fuel he needs for his war machine won't be there anymore. So if China in particular, which professes to have a strong interest in ending the war, if it really means it, it will stop fueling the war machine and will continue to do everything we can to cut off the support that countries like Iran and North Korea are providing. The deep concerns we have about China, not in terms of providing weapons, but in providing what Russia needs to keep its defense industrial base going and to produce itself more tanks, more munitions, more missiles. Yes.
Stoltenberg echoed these concerns, calling for China to face repercussions for its role in fueling what he described as Europe's largest conflict since World War II.
I also fully agree that China cannot have it both ways. They cannot continue to have normal trade relationships with countries in Europe and at the same time fuel the biggest war we have seen in Europe since the Second World War. So at some stage this has to have consequences for China.
Despite Beijing's assertion of neutrality in the Ukraine war and its claim of refraining from supplying lethal aid to either side, Blinken and Stoltenberg have questioned the inconsistency of China maintaining normal trade relations with European countries while supporting Russia. The strategic partnership between China and Russia has deepened as Moscow's invasion of Ukraine continues, with China providing vital economic support to Russia amidst international isolation. At least 4 BRICS Plus countries, namely India, South Africa, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, are among several countries that have not signed the final communiqué at the recently held Peace Summit for Ukraine. The document emphasizes respecting Ukraine's territorial integrity in any peace agreement to resolve the ongoing conflict with Russia. It further calls for the full release of prisoners of war through a comprehensive exchange and the repatriation of unlawfully displaced Ukrainian children. Brazil, attending as an observer at the summit held in Switzerland, didn't sign either. Turkey, however, aiming to mediate between Russia and Ukraine, has endorsed the document, and so have around 80 others out of the around 90 participating countries. Discussions at the summit included global food security and nuclear safety, with a specific call for Ukraine to regain full sovereign control over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Volodymyr Zelensky noted that summit participants agreed to continue collaborative efforts in specialized groups, preparing actions plans for peace that could pave the way for a subsequent summit. In Iran, 6 candidates in Tehran are competing to succeed the late ultra-conservative President Ibrahim Raisi, focusing on revitalizing Iran's economy amid severe challenges ahead of the upcoming election. In their initial debate, 5 conservatives and 1 reformist have pledged to tackle the economic hardships affecting Iran's 85 million people, exacerbated by international sanctions and high inflation. Originally scheduled for 2025, the election was moved forward due to Raisi's recent death in a helicopter crash. Mohammed Bagha Khalif, a conservative hopeful and Iran's parliament speaker, has vowed to strengthen the economy to mitigate inflation's impact on salaries and purchasing power as well. He also committed to removing US sanctions imposed after the US withdrawal from the 2015 nuclear deal. Meanwhile, Masoud Pezeshkian, the sole reformist candidate, has advocated for improving global and regional relations to stimulate economic growth and has called for easing internet restrictions. With reformist influence dwindling since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Pezeshkian has emerged as the preferred candidate, supported after moderate contenders were barred from running. Conversely, ultra-conservative Saeed Jalil has dismissed the need for Western relations, criticizing former US President Donald Trump's failed maximum pressure policy against Iran. In China, extreme weather is wreaking havoc, with at least 4 fatalities reported and over a dozen individuals missing due to unprecedented rainfall in southern regions, while northern areas grapple with scorching temperatures. In the Fujian province, record-breaking rains have affected over 66,000 residents in one county alone, disrupting communication and power infrastructures. Landslides in Meizhou, Guangdong province, have claimed 5 lives, left 15 missing, and trapped 13 individuals, prompting a swift response from emergency services. President Xi Jinping has urged swift action to ensure public safety amid ongoing flooding in southern provinces and dry conditions in the north, where temperatures in Beijing are set to reach 39 degrees Celsius. The widespread impact highlights China's vulnerability to severe weather events, exacerbated by climate change, with efforts underway nationwide to mitigate drought and support affected communities. In India, Priyanka Gandhi, the sister of Rahul Gandhi, leader of India's main opposition party, is poised to enter her maiden election, fulfilling the long-held hopes of her supporters. As a scion of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty, India's renowned political lineage, her electoral debut is eagerly anticipated. BGTN's India correspondent S. Venkat Narayan has more.
Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, the younger sister of senior Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi, will make her political debut from Wayanad parliamentary constituency in Kerala state in South India. The seat will fall vacant as Rahul Gandhi decided to vacate it in favor of Rai Bareli in Uttar Pradesh in parliament. Rahul was elected from both the seats and he has decided to give up Wayanad in favor of Rai Bareli. This decision was taken on Monday night at a meeting at Congress Party President Mallikarjun Kharge's home. The date for the election to the Wayanad constituency will be announced by the Election Commission in due course. Speaking to reporters after the party president announced the decision, 52-year-old Priyanka said, and I quote, "I won't let the people of Wayanad feel Rahul's absence. I will work hard, try my best to make everyone happy in Wayanad and be a good representative," unquote. If Priyanka manages to win from Wayanad, it will be the first time that 3 members of the Nehru-Gandhi family will be in parliament at the same time. Priyanka and Rahul's mother Sonia Gandhi is now a member of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will be the 11th member of India's most famous Nehru-Gandhi political dynasty to enter active politics. Her 3 distinguished predecessors include Prime Ministers Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. S. Venkat Narayan, BGTN, New Delhi, India.
In Iran, at least 4 people have died and more than 100 injured as a 4.9 magnitude earthquake struck the northeastern city of Kashmir on Tuesday. The quake hit at 1:24 p.m. local time, causing severe damage to older structures across urban and rural areas. The United States Geological Surveys reported the earthquake struck at a depth of 10 kilometers. Iran, situated atop active tectonic plates, frequently experiences seismic activity. Last year, a 5.9 magnitude quake in Iran's mountainous northwest near Turkey's border killed 3 and injured more than 800 people. In 2003, a devastating 6.6 magnitude earthquake in Bam, southeastern Iran, claimed at least 31,000 lives, marking one of the world's deadliest natural disasters. Coming up, BRICS Plus Business.
The art of Africa goes jazz. South Africa has given rise to a number of jazz artists, from trumpeter Hugh Masekela to pianist Abdullah Ibrahim and vocalist Gloria Bosman and Sibongile Khumalo. Their uniquely South African strain of jazz has become an essential thread in the international jazz fabric. The latest torchbearer of that sound is Nduduzo Makhathini, a pianist and composer whose albums have made him a leading voice in African jazz. Not only is he a jazz artist, but Makhathini embodies the roles of teacher and historian.
Capital, a new $20 million venture capital fund based in England, aims to capitalize on the burgeoning iGaming sector in the United Arab Emirates. Led by experienced gaming and finance professionals, the fund will target high-growth startups in online gaming, Web3, crypto and blockchain from seed to Series A stages. Anticipating over 25 launches in the next 5 years, Ixia sees significant potential in the UAE's upcoming regulated market. Despite regulatory uncertainties, Ixia views the region as highly promising, already poised for gaming operations. The fund's initial phase focuses on the UAE, India and Africa, leveraging expertise in these key markets. Meanwhile, according to a June report by CBRE, an investment firm specializing in real estate, regulated gaming is expected to be introduced in the UAE soon. The report anticipates decriminalization through federal decrees or legislative changes in the criminal and penal codes, likely within the coming months. CBRE has highlighted the region's current reliance on illegal or grey market online gaming, accessible via VPN or proxy, suggesting that addressing this issue will be a priority for the General Commercial Gaming Regulatory Authority. Meanwhile, Wynn Resorts is actively developing an integrated resort in Ras Al Khaimah, slated for completion by 2027. This development shows the growing interest and investment in the UAE's evolving gaming and hospitality landscape as regulatory frameworks begin to take shape. In South Africa, MultiChoice and Sanlam have announced a deal where Sanlam's subsidiary, Sanlam Life, will acquire a 60% stake in NMS Insurance Services, MultiChoice's insurance arm. According to MoneyWeb, the transaction involves an upfront cash payment of 1.2 billion rand and a potential performance-based earnout of up to 1.5 billion rand by the end of 2026. NMS Insurance Services, operating under MultiChoice's DSTV brand, specializes in microinsurance for non-life and life products, including device installation, funeral subscription waiver and debt waiver insurance. MultiChoice, with a vast subscriber base spanning 21 million households across 50 African countries, aims to leverage this partnership to enhance its digital service offerings and expand revenue streams from existing companies. The move comes as MultiChoice adapts to evolving market dynamics, including recent subscriber declines. The collaboration with Sanlam is seen as pivotal in providing NMS with the necessary resources and expertise to scale operations across Africa, tapping into Sanlam's extensive financial services network and insurance expertise. And in Brazil, President Luiz Lula da Silva's emphasized the urgency of combating criminal activities responsible for Amazon deforestation and has called for swift and adaptable measures. This as he signed a new initiative in Brasilia earlier this week. The measure allocates 318 million reals, that's $58.7 million, to bolster state security efforts in the region, part of a larger 1.2 billion reals plan launched nearly a year ago. Lula's described this funding as unprecedented in Brazilian history for addressing Amazon-related challenges, stressing the need for agility in its implementation before his term concludes in 2026. The Amazon Plan, Security and Sovereignty Initiative, aims to enhance resources like boats and helicopters to combat deforestation driven by criminal groups across the vast 6.3 million square kilometers of rainforest. The plan also includes establishing an international police cooperation center in Manaus to engage intelligence officials from Amazon bordering South American nations. Funded partly by the Amazon Fund and supported by Norway and Germany, the initiative shows Brazil's commitment to halting illegal deforestation by 2030 as global environmental concerns mount. Coming up, Yolanda Pondo with BRICS Plus Sports News.
Only on BGTN.
I have no idea who this guy is. Absolutely no idea. He's not me. I am Ray White. This guy, is a deep fake.
So, as you can see, the BRICS nations have done very well with space exploration, boldly going where no man has gone before. Gosh, it's lovely being in space, isn't it?
Catch me, Ray White, on Building Business One Brick at a Time, your BGTN business show that'll keep you in the know about what's happening in the world of business across BRICS, right here on BGTN.
The Kruger National Park, an area of beauty, the custodian of most of Africa's rhino population, a park of breathtaking nature, but also an area of horror.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Pondo with your BRICS Plus Sports Updates. We start in Russia, where the BRICS Games continue in Kazan. A quick look at BRICS Plus countries' medals count so far. Russia is still way ahead with 252 medals. China has 38, Iran has 29, Brazil is on 15, India has won 14, South Africa has 1, Egypt has 5, and Ethiopia and the UAE have won 6 each. BGTN's Ben Rikoto.
I'm Ben Rikoto, BGTN, and today we are talking the Kazan Games. Butemba, what are the significance of the Kazan Games?
Well, they are important to the extent that they reflect a determination on the BRICS countries and their allies to present an alternative to the established institutions that are dominated by the West. You'll recall that these BRICS games were held in South Africa last year. And this year, they are in Russia. And being in Russia actually heightens their significance in the geopolitical struggle that is taking place in the world.
We can't avoid politics in sport or the politics of sport. What is this? Is it politics into sport and we are bringing politics into sport to make our point out there?
When the political temperatures or confrontations, rise, it permeates into all facets and aspects of society. You'll recall during the height of the Cold War, when the Olympics were held in Moscow, America and its allies boycotted them. And when later on they were held in America, Russia and its allies boycotted them. So politics are not far off from the surface.
Finally, Mr. Godi, if you help us understand the Kazan Games, what do you think in the next 2 weeks would have achieved as BRICS? What do you think we're going to achieve at the end of these games? They will move to another country after this, but in your opinion, what you're seeing on the ground, what do you think these games are going to achieve?
Look, sports and culture are the easiest forms of building friendship. And to the extent that these games were held, and in Russia for that matter, and the kind of attendance, I think if you take from last year, I think that there is a growing momentum to recognize these games. And I suspect they may actually end up being a mirror to the Olympic Games. Remember, the Olympic Games are not a universal phenomenon. It's European culture. It's the Italians. So it might as well be so that BRICS in 3, 4, 5 years' time might be looking at presenting the BRICS Games as the Olympics of the free world, so to speak. Free as in countries that interact on an equal basis, that do not pressure other countries to pursue their line. So we need to look at these games in geopolitical terms, and that the future that they represent is one that will seek to present an alternative rather than boycott the Olympics, create an alternative. I think, for me, that is the message that seems to be coming through.
The lineup for this weekend's UFC inaugural event to be held in Saudi Arabia has changed. Khamzat Chimaev was set to headline the event, eyeing a potential middleweight title shot. However, his plans have changed. He was scheduled to make his 2024 debut against former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, but Chimaev was forced to withdraw due to illness. Instead, his former opponent, Ikram Aliskerov, will now face Whittaker in the main event. Chimaev, who remains undefeated, expressed his thoughts on Instagram, reflecting, "We always plan something, but Allah has his own plans for us." Details about his illness and when he might return to the octagon are currently unknown. UFC CEO Dana White revealed that Chimaev fell severely ill during his final preparations for Whittaker. White acknowledged Chimaev's recent challenges in staying active, describing his career as unpredictable. Chimaev returned to action last October after a 13-month hiatus, earning a hard-fought victory over Kamaru Usman. In tennis news, China's Zheng Qinwen dominated Naomi Osaka on Tuesday at the Berlin Open, firing a record-breaking 23 aces to secure a 6-4, 3-6 and 6-3 victory in the first round. Ranked 8th in the world, Zheng's powerful serving display has marked the highest number of aces recorded on the Women's Tennis Association Tour this season, a strategic focus ahead of Wimbledon. "I aimed to enhance my serve consistency, crucial on grass courts where one break can decide a set," explained the 21-year-old, reflecting on her win and preparations. Despite her previous struggles on grass, including early exits last year, Zheng expressed her affinity for playing on this surface. Osaka, recently returning to tennis after giving birth to her daughter Shai last year, has faced her second grass court defeat in 5 days, contrasting her strong clay court performance at Roland Garros. Zheng progresses to meet Katarzyna Siniakova in the second round after the Czech qualifiers' straight sets win over Emma Navarro. Well, that's your BRICS Plus Sports updates for today. I'll see you again tomorrow with more.
"22 Seconds" came about. I've been working on human trafficking stories recently. I've been doing documentaries. It was just like, are we doing enough? It was a campaign that was, let's challenge ourselves, let's get it out there, let's try and reach as much people as possible.
130 people are trafficked all around the world per hour. So every 22 seconds, someone is being trafficked. 22 seconds could be your walk from a school gate inside the school. It could be your walk from your house to the bus station. It's just a short distance.
This campaign is a campaign that is set to raise awareness, to show the severity of this crime that's happening around us. I'm hoping that it will get society to speak about it. It will get communities, governments and organizations to come together and tackle this. I'm hoping that it will get the young girl, the young boy to understand the dangers that we live around.
And we're speaking to schools so that children are also aware of this. Teachers are aware, because also teachers play a vital role into seeing kids that they teach that this child was not like this. The campaign is running for a month, but that's not where our work will end. We will continue campaigning and we will continue moving towards our goal of getting 22 million signatures.
You can share the campaign firstly on social media using the hashtags 22 seconds not for sale, hashtag 22 seconds empower change, because we are empowering change. Please sign the petition. The whole idea also behind the petition is that once we reach 22 million signatures, we will take it to the UN.
It is up to us to raise awareness and show human trafficking that it has no place in our society.
And finally, Tokyo-born giant panda Xiang has celebrated her 7th birthday at the China Conservation and Research Center for Giant Pandas in the Sichuan province. China loans these beloved black and white bears to international zoos as part of panda diplomacy, serving diplomatic goals, and their offspring are repatriated within a few years to join breeding programs. After delighting millions globally with their fluffy forms and playful antics, these giant pandas born abroad have to adjust to life in China. Zookeepers say that when they first return, they communicate in English with those who understand it and gradually transition to Chinese. Well, that's today's roundup of news from BRICS Plus countries. You can join us again tomorrow. Until then, visit our website and social media for the latest BRICS Plus updates.